Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 9 of New York and Beyond with me, Christina. And in this episode, we're talking about how we can become physically and mentally healthier through a lifestyle that incorporates wellness. So stay tuned, we're covering everything here. Welcome back, guys. I'm so happy that you're here for another episode of New York and Beyond. And for this episode, I know that wellness has become kind of a buzzword that gets thrown around way too much lately, but it is very important. And our guest, Charlotte Muller, has firsthand experience physically changing her health for the better despite having a rare genetic condition. And she is going to share with us how she's incorporated different wellness practices, including yoga, including spiritual wellness, as well as her other pillars of wellness that have helped her to do a 180, get her health on track, and give her body the longevity that we all want. Charlotte is a registered yoga teacher, a fitness instructor, a CPR instructor, and a business owner. She has so much knowledge that she's going to share with us in this episode. I'm so excited to bring her to you. Before I bring her in really quickly, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channels. This show is available on YouTube as well as on the podcast, so please be sure that you're subscribed to both. This makes sure that you won't miss any episodes, and it's a totally free way that you can support me and help me make more videos like this for you guys. And of course, clicking the bell icon on YouTube will make sure that you're notified when I upload new episodes, so definitely do that as well, please and thank you. So let's talk to Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. We are so blessed to have you today. I just briefly introduced you to our audience in my introduction, but if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, what your mission is.
Sure. Yeah. So, hey, everyone. My name is Charlotte. I'm really excited to be here today. I absolutely love talking. So thanks for listening. And thank you, Christina, for having me. So yeah, my name is Charlotte. I'm a wellness professional based in New York City. I've been the mama of Breathe Strength, which is my brand, for about 7 years now. I started it when I was 21, and it's had a bunch of different evolutions. So most recently, I opened a yoga studio out here in the city just 5 months before COVID. So unfortunately, I had to close it, and that's been really tough. But I've transitioned everything to online. So still running the wellness biz online. And yeah, just my mission really is to bring wellness wherever I go. So my Breathe Strength is based on what I call the 4 pillars of wellness, which is mental health, physical health, spiritual health, and social health. And really my goal is to help all of my students, all of my community members reveal the strength that they already have.
I love that. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Thanks for that intro. And again, we have this theme of empowerment. You have the strength inside of you, you have the answers inside of you, and you're looking to bring that out, which is just so nice. So I love that you frame it like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, your story though is so inspiring. It's unique. Could you share with our audience, can you give them a little bit of that background, and can you share with us how you found wellness and what a difference it's made in your life?
Absolutely. I love this question so much. So my wellness journey really began in 2010. When I was 17 years old, I unexpectedly lost my mom. She had heart disease, and it was just super unexpected. She had one heart attack. She went into cardiac arrest, and unfortunately we lost her. So she was like, if you look at me, she looked exactly like me, just with brown hair, like super petite. From the outside, she looked super healthy, and we just didn't see it coming. So for me, being 17 when I lost her, it was that transitional time in my life where I'm in, the later stages of high school. I've got prom coming up. I'm applying for colleges. I'm getting ready to graduate. So it was just a really tough time to lose the most important woman in my life. And so shortly after I lost her, I got diagnosed with a condition called Familial Hypercholesterolemia, which is just this fancy way of saying genetically really high cholesterol. And so I found out that my mom actually had this condition as well. So it runs on my mom's side of the family. And I just unfortunately have that gene that puts me at a risk for early heart disease. So discovering this diagnosis at 17, it was really, really hard. but it was such a good time for me to discover it at the same time, because I have my whole life ahead of me to really save my own life, if you will. Um, so yeah, I got that diagnosis, and then I had to really adjust all of the normal things in my life as a normal 17-year-old, just like eating whatever she wanted, doing whatever she wanted, to really being mindful of what health is and how I can, better my own.
Wow. Okay, Charlotte. I'm firstly, I'm so sorry about that loss. I mean, I have tears in my eyes only because I can just imagine what it must have been like for a young girl to have to become just a straight up adult woman so quickly. I feel for you. I really do.
Thank
And
you.
I think that many people in your shoes may have not been able to create the positive changes in their life that you did with this catalyst. So I think that you deserve so much credit for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of pressure as a 17-year-old to just like go from this carefree life of just doing whatever I wanted to do, having high school parties, having all my friends, to just like boom, one day mom is gone and it's time to grow up. So yeah, it was really difficult. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, completely, completely. And I know that part of your journey into a more, dare I say, holistic but wellness inspired lifestyle is you brought yoga into your life and you were able to achieve dramatic physical health improvements with this lifestyle that's based around wellness. Can you share with our audience what you did to turn around your health for the better?
Of course. Yeah. Another question that I absolutely love. So, I actually started when I got the diagnosis, the doctors wanted me to go on this high dose of medicine right away just to manage the condition. And so I wanted to try everything naturally first. So I first looked at my diet, and at 17, I was melting cheese on everything. I was dipping everything in ranch, drinking, large iced teas from the deli every single day. And so I didn't know much about diet at all. So my first step was just clean up the diet. So, since 2010, I've been through a bunch of different diets. Like I've tried vegetarianism, I've tried veganism, I've tried all the different like little ones that you hear in the media. And what I've really discovered is it's all about balance for me in terms of diet. So, do I have meat sometimes? Sometimes, yeah, but I make sure that it's the highest quality possible. I make sure that the animals were raised humanely and treated in the most humane ways. But really, it's about a balance of my vegetables, my protein, all of those important nutrients. So diet is a huge, huge thing that helped my numbers come down in terms of cholesterol. So even just maybe a year after I started cleaning up my diet, my cholesterol decreased 100 points, which is just like shocking for a 17-year-old, and especially somebody with my condition. So it really goes to show that nutrition has a really big role to play in our health and wellness. So
Was that before shifting to the medication as well?
yep, that was before
Wow.
medicine.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's powerful. Nutrition is power, and it's medicine. Food is medicine. So that's like the number one thing that really opened my eyes to, wow, I can manage my condition. Maybe not cure it, maybe not manage it completely, but I can really do a lot with just food. So absolutely food. And then the second thing that I did was exercise, which is I was again in high school somebody who just put sweatpants on over my jeans to change for gym class. Like I did not like exercising, never played sports, none of that. I just was not into fitness. And so when I discovered actually the power of exercise and found some exercise variations that brought me joy, like dancing and Zumba and HIIT, all of those fun things, my numbers continued to drop. And it was just between diet and exercise, just going down, 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 down. And my doctors, like I said, originally wanted me on this higher dose of what we call a statin drug, which is really designed to just lower cholesterol. So they wanted me on 40 milligrams to start. And I was able to drop it all the way down to only needing 5 milligrams, which is like insane. And I was so proud. So yeah, diet and exercise were the two main factors in lowering my cholesterol. And then, since then, this is really where the 4 pillars of wellness was born. When I look back at my journey of how did I turn my life around for the better. So physical and mental health were two of the big ones. So physical health, I had the diet, I had exercise. Mental health, I started to see a therapist and just talk through what is going on in my mind. And I cannot even tell you how helpful therapy is. Like anybody watching out there, if you're considering seeing somebody, talking to somebody, this is your sign to do it. So yeah, therapy, mental health, so important. And then the last pillar of wellness is spiritual health. So another thing that really helped me is finding yoga. I actually found yoga 5 years ago or so. So pretty much halfway in my wellness journey so far. So it was pretty much just fitness, fitness, fitness. And then I found yoga and it was like, oh, that's the missing piece of spirituality and really living for a purpose that's bigger than just showing up every day. So yeah.
How amazing. You're just so incredible. So I had a couple of thoughts while you were discussing this and sharing this with us. First of all, I just feel so blessed to be able to talk to you today right now. And I feel so blessed to be able to bring this to the audience. I mean, this is not stuff that you really, we're all hit with diet culture. We're hit with exercise culture, but to hear it from someone like you, I honestly feel hits differently, and it's hits with more value, to be totally honest with you, than just reading and being bombarded by the different like branding messages that we hear every single day. So again, thank you so much. And to the audience, this is just, Charlotte is just the embodiment of what we want to do on New York and Beyond. We want to reach our fullest potential. We want to create our lives on a path that is going to take us where we want to go, and this is what you've done. I mean, it's just, and the other thing that I thought about while you were talking was, you're so, I don't know. So obviously the show's on podcast and YouTube. Some people are going to be seeing you and some people are going to be listening to you. If you're not watching right now, I definitely think you should at least check out the YouTube video at some point and see what Charlotte looks like. She's so little. So you're petite. And, someone back then who may have, seen you in school or whatever the case was, would probably have assumed you were like the picture of perfect health, which makes me, it's just another reminder that like body type does not signify always how healthy you are. And I think that's also, right. It's also important to think about too, because there was an underlying issue going on and thank God you caught it. But yeah, like just because someone's skinny doesn't mean they're in tip top shape. It doesn't, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So that's just something too that I know we're waking up to, we're starting to see, but it's just, it's important to mention again,
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's something, like you said, we are waking up to, but something that we really need to be told and told and told until we get it. Just because somebody looks healthy doesn't mean they are healthy.
It's so true. I mean, your physical weight and muscular and whatever your muscle index, it's not everything. Right. And, and obviously physical activity will help, but you really need to be checking in. And the other thing too, is as you incorporated these, you mentioned trial and error with different diets. And I'm assuming that you had been checking in fairly often with a physician as you did these different trials. Mm-hmm. Which is also so helpful for us because here we are. I mean, I think the average person tinkers around. I've been using the word tinkers like all the time lately. I've become so annoying. I'm really sorry. But we've been like, tell me the average person's not like tinkering around with a new fad diet every so often. And are we consulting a doctor before and after each experiment? Probably not. But here you are with this information helping us say, you were checking in, you did see what you tried and what the effects were, and your findings that were educated findings were that balance was key. And that's so big.
Yeah. And it really helps us too with that mental aspect of, as long as our diets are balanced, we are not craving to just, go hard on a cheat day and have all of the cookies, all of the cake, all of the ice cream, just because we're restricting ourselves. So balance, oh my gosh, balance is key.
Yes. Yes. And when you have this more important goal in mind of, wellness and being well and being healthy, you have less of those. I would assume, like, you don't want to eat the entire box of Oreos. Maybe you want a couple, but you know that they're not, I would think that control is going to come a little bit easier as well, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And then you start to realize what those like treats actually, how they make you feel. Like when the sugar, hits your body and you get really hyper and then you crash, or you break out the next day after eating cheese. It's just, you start to notice those little nuances in the body and how the body responds.
Yeah, it's it's just so interesting. And of course, everyone's different. Everyone's going to react differently, but this is what Charlotte did. This is how Charlotte did her inward journey and came to these conclusions. And it's so inspiring for us to do the same.
Yeah.
So how much do you feel? I know that you did end up going on a smaller dosage of the medication. How much do you feel that your lifestyle changes have affected your physical health versus just someone that would just rely on Western medicine?
Totally. It's, for me specifically, it has to be a balance just because I do have this condition where a lot of people, I want to say most people who have high cholesterol don't have this disorder. So somebody who goes to the doctor and they get their cholesterol checked, chances are it can be totally, totally corrected through diet and exercise. But for me, that just wasn't the case. So as much as I wish I could have done it all naturally and holistically, I'm so grateful for Western medicine and what it allows my body to do. It really gives me hope for living a long life of, fulfilled purpose and experience. And so the lifestyle changes, they make me energized as heck. I mean, I am bouncing off the wall 6 out of 7 days, just like so ready to go, just because I eat well and I hydrate and I'm active and it feels really nice. So, and then in terms of stress management too, like yoga and meditation, all of those holistic practices allow me to really just be here and be present, which is so important. So yeah, for me, it's got to be a balance. The lifestyle changes have made a huge impact. If I just relied on the medicine, say I took that 40 grams that they wanted me to be on in the beginning, I really wouldn't be helping myself for that longevity aspect, in a sense of like having the energy, having low stress levels. Maybe my cholesterol levels would be in check, but all of the other aspects of wellness really wouldn't be. So balance is key. And Western medicine sometimes gets a bad rap, but it's so important. So everybody's different. And if we have conditions that need us to have a balance of both, we use both.
Amazing. Thank you for the explanation. And I know we've been talking about yoga. So could you share with us the benefits of yoga outside of simply the physical movement?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, obviously with the physical movement comes strength, comes flexibility, comes balance, all of those things that we just know. But yoga has the power to just calm us down and bring us into right here, right now. And so we, especially in New York, if a lot of our audience members are from New York, you know that we are go, go, go. And we are working, we are hustling, we are moving quickly with our heads down and, concentrating on getting it done. And what that does, unfortunately, for our bodies is it keeps us in this fight or flight mode. It keeps us in what we call our sympathetic nervous system, which is just, heart rate is elevated, body is ready to just like dodge or move or fight or flight, really, or freeze, because we are so pressured to do everything all the time. And so what yoga does is it gives us an opportunity to step on the yoga mat, breathe, and just be. And when we focus on the breath, when we breathe mindfully and when we breathe deeply, we take ourselves out of that sympathetic, that fight or flight mode, and we bring ourselves into the parasympathetic state, which is that rest, recover, digest mode, which is really where healing takes place. It's where we're able to be present and enjoy the now. So one of the biggest benefits of yoga is that stress reduction, which is, I would say it's probably the number one benefit. That's my opinion.
Amazing. So could you tell us, is there like an average, like this is not a question that we have discussed previously. I'm sorry, but if you could,
okay.
if you do have an answer for it, like, is there an amount of time that it takes for us to like mentally check out of the fight or flight mentality and enter this parasympathetic nervous system, if that's what you called it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we could do it right now. Do you want to do it with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
So all we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. We're going to hold for 2 counts, and then we're going to exhale for 6. So sit up tall, roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, and then really breathe out to let all of the air out of the body. And then breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we're in parasympathetic.
That's amazing. I love.
Did you feel it?
Relaxed, 100%.
Yeah. So that's how
crazy.
quick. We could do it in a heartbeat. You can do it on the subway. Like that's the power of the breath. So it can instantly bring us from woo to just like
It's interesting. Now it's like, let's consciously remember to do it throughout the day, you know, because it's easy to maybe forget about doing because it is so simple. It's like you don't have to like make a really intricate smoothie or take 45 minutes to unwind. It's like you can do it right there. So let's hold on to that. Let's not forget about that. That was amazing. You talk a lot about balance. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to us about why balance is so important? I know you did mention this previously, but really when it comes to containing stress as well, like what is stress doing to our bodies and how can a more balanced lifestyle help relieve stress? And do you have any tips and tricks for that?
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, balance, I would just say in all aspects, balance is key. It's key for everything. And so when I am a yoga teacher, I've got all these hours of training under my belt. And so I'd be remiss not to mention there's yoga philosophy is incredible. It's 5,000 years old. It dates back, so long in ancient India. And there are ancient texts that have just such wisdom. And so one of my favorite, we call them Yoga Sutras. One of my favorite Yoga Sutras is Yoga Sutra 2.46. And this is really, it's all about balance in the physical yoga pose. So I'll clear it up. But basically, the sutra says that a yoga pose should be equal parts of effort and ease. So we should be steady and it should also be easy. And so what we do in, the yoga world, a lot of times is we take those teachings that are, this one's only about a physical yoga pose and we expand it into, okay, how can we live a more balanced life? How can I show up with effort and with ease in everything that I do? And so when I think about, these 4 pillars of wellness that I've created that Breathe Strength is really based on, we can be balanced in each of the 4 pillars. So we think about mental health. It's that ability to feel the feelings, both the good and the bad, and understand that we can be feeling both simultaneously. We can be sad and excited at the same time. We can be angry and happy at the same time. So in the mental health aspect, it's being able to understand that we're human and that balance of emotion is what makes us human. So that is the mental health aspect. Then when it comes to physical, it's just like we said in certain yoga poses, maybe we're holding a pose that requires a lot of lower body strength, but can we find the softness through deepening the breath? Can we find the softness through relaxing the forehead if we're tensing up? And we can expand that a little bit further in saying like wellness. If we're thinking about physical health, exercise and physical health and movement is so, important. And so is rest. So it's that balance of how am I getting movement, and how am I getting recovery to give myself optimal levels of health. So we've got mental, we've got physical, then it comes spiritual, whereas like, can I find something that I'm working towards? Can I find my purpose? And can I really go after that and work towards my purpose, why I'm here on this planet, in this body? And at the same time, pull back a little bit and realize that I'm human and I can experience all of these things that life is offering me at the same time. So it's like having direction, but also letting ourselves be like free and, just experience whatever's going on. And then my final one is social health. So can I find a balance of being with people, being social, and also being alone and recharging? So when it comes to stress levels, which is your initial question, I totally went on a ramble. I'm so sorry, but it's all important. So when it comes to balancing stress, it's the ability to notice, okay, I'm stressed. Make that decision. I need to calm my stress, and then do it. So that balance of just understanding when you're feeling stressed out and then taking the steps to just de-stress and be is really so, so important for our health.
Amazing. I know that after hearing this episode, we are all going to try something, something that we talk about on this show. And my question for you is, I know that you do a lot of work virtually with clients. How do you incorporate the 4 pillars that you mentioned to your clients virtually?
It's definitely more challenging virtually than it is in person, just because when I had the yoga studio, we would have events and we would have parties and we would have yoga classes where everybody is together, just like really feeling that social aspect. So when we think about mental health, every class that I teach, I have amazing teachers, and the way that I was taught to teach is to really incorporate yoga philosophy. So that mental health aspect of thinking, and this is spiritual health at the same time. So it's taking these ancient practices, weaving them into a class, whether it's high intensity interval training or whether it's yoga. So like weaving in, like we did before with effort and ease, and how we can just zoom out and take that into, the bigger picture. So definitely mental and spiritual is with yoga philosophy. Physical, we have our physical movement, whether it's high intensity or yoga. Social, that's the one that's hard, but it can be done online. So we have on Monday nights, if anybody is listening free on Monday nights at 6:30, we have a party in my class called Hit and Flow. It's like 25, 30 people every week, just, on screen. They're in their own house, but also together. And it's this really powerful feeling knowing that you're connected just through this amazing tool of the internet. Together, but also by yourself. And so the way that I incorporate social aspect really into our classes is by the use of the chat box. So I'll encourage my students, like if we're doing high intensity interval training, like tell me in the chat box how that exercise made you feel, and like just like silly things, like tell me in the chat box what your favorite ice cream flavor is, just like fun to make people realize that they are really not alone. So it's definitely a challenge in a virtual environment to nail all 4 of those, but it is done. And I've been doing it for about almost 12 months now, which is insane. So I think I've got it down pat.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And we are going to include in the description all the ways that the audience can find those classes as well, because they sound so fun. I'm sure everyone's going to want to check them out.
Yeah.
So can we talk about physical ability for a second? Because I know I feel like stepping into a yoga class for a first timer is kind of horrifying. I mean, if you don't think that you're flexible, or if you have any reason why you don't think you'd be able to hold these difficult poses. I know too, like even myself personally, I was injured as a small child and have less strength in one of my arms than the other. So I just assume I can't do this, So what would you say to someone that feels like from a physical perspective, they have some kind of a blocker that would prevent them from being able to do yoga or feel comfortable doing yoga? Is it actually easier than we might think to get started?
Oh my gosh. I love that you asked this. Yeah, it is way easier than you think to get started. Yoga. Okay. People think yoga, right? And they think, okay, I'm going to go on Instagram and I'm going to see all of these amazing models in their bikinis doing handstands over a cliff. And like, that's what yoga is. Hell no. That is a part of yoga, but yoga is so much bigger than that. So, you know, in every class that I teach, I give modifications. I give different steps that you can take to do a certain pose. There is no full expression of a pose. Say, this is what we call eagle arms. Some people's eagle arms look like this. Some people's eagle arms look like this. Maybe it's here. All of it is yoga. And just because you can't touch your toes doesn't mean you can't roll out your mat and breathe and get those benefits of calming the stress levels down and getting more flexible. In the yoga community, a lot of yoga teachers joke that we always hear from people, I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. And we've got this like cookie cutter answer that we give to them when we hear that. And that's like saying you're too dirty to take a bath, because yoga makes you more flexible. So you don't have to be flexible to start. Just by starting, you're going to get flexible. Just like by taking a bath, you're going to clean yourself up. So my advice to anybody who is experiencing any blocks about rolling out their mat for the first time is just know that there will always be modifications, and there's always an aspect of a yoga pose that you can do. Even if it's sitting, closing your eyes and breathing, that's yoga. Doesn't have to be a fancy handstand.
Okay, that's so nice. That's definitely reassuring. So there's nothing like magical about like a specific pose that is a certain way that like if you're not achieving that exact pose, you're not like getting the right flow or something?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God, I actually thought that was. Like I actually did think that.
Nope, not one bit.
That's so cool. Okay. So this is for everyone.
Yeah.
It
It is.
Yeah, that might have been obvious to some people, but it actually wasn't really obvious to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that's great. A lot of people probably share the same point of view as you. It's intimidating.
It is. It definitely is, especially when you're in a room with people that are more experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are seeing the value of incorporating yoga into our lives, but we're busy and we aren't sure like exactly where to start. What would you recommend that's like an easy way to start incorporating this so that we can get the benefits of yoga?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go into that search bar after we're done and literally search 5-minute yoga flow beginner. Boom. You're going to have thousands and thousands of videos pop up. So even if you don't have time to do a 60-minute or a 90-minute, I don't have time to do a 90-minute, but even if you don't have time to dedicate an hour to yoga, do 5 minutes, do 10, do 12 minutes. There are so many opportunities. And also plugging myself, I've got a YouTube channel with all videos under 30 minutes. So if you're interested, Breathe Strength, you can search that on YouTube. But also if you're too busy for even 5 minutes, you can do yoga. Say you're commuting on the subway. Doing yoga can be as simple as sitting on the subway, closing your eyes, and doing that breath that Christina and I just did together. Doing yoga can be as simple as standing on the subway and not touching the pole as it's moving and bracing your core. That's yoga. That's called Tadasana. That's mountain pose, and you're standing in your strength. And yoga can be also the next time you're arguing with your partner, instead of reacting, instead of being like, well, you're stupid, just taking a moment, pausing, and breathing. That is yoga. So there are so many ways that you can practice this ancient practice that doesn't require you to roll out your mat and dedicate 60 minutes to movement. There are so many ways.
Awesome. Your YouTube channel, we are going to link in the description as well. It's called, can you repeat what it's called for us?
Yeah, sure. It's just Breathe Strength.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure that everyone heard that. And are there different kinds? I know that there are different kinds of yoga, but could you tell us what they are? And are there different kinds that you would recommend for different like health goals?
Yeah, for sure. There are so many different kinds of yoga that if I name them all, we'd probably run out of so much time. So,
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was like hot or not hot.
I love that. You're so cute. I mean, hot yoga is one of them for sure. No, there are 1,000 different kinds, and new kinds of yoga are being uh, popped up every moment. We hear of the three ones that I'm familiar with. Vinyasa yoga, which is really just like flowy and like transitioning between different yoga poses through your breath. There's restorative yoga, which I absolutely love, which is my biggest recommendation to anybody feeling stressed out, which is basically getting a bunch of pillows and blankets and putting yourself in a position that you're super comfortable in, that gravity is doing the stretch for you. So comfortable, so comfortable. So that's called restorative yoga. Definitely check it out. And then power flow would be something if anybody wants to really get that physical push. Like maybe you're somebody who loves the gym and you really don't feel like slowing down and stretching out that much, you try power flow, and it's you're moving from pose to pose. You're doing extra push-ups, you're doing squats, maybe squat jumps, who knows. So power flow is really that type of class that you'll go to get that push. Then so vinyasa, the one I talked about first, would be the one to go to if you're really seeking balance, because it is this flow between poses. You get that effort, you get that ease. And then, I mean, you've got goat yoga, you've got prenatal yoga, you've got all different kinds. So check them out, see what works for you. But the three that I would recommend to start would be vinyasa for the balance, restorative for really anybody who's feeling stressed, and power for people that want to amp it up and get stronger.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I actually did not know that there was a power version, which is so
Uh-huh.
cool. So cool.
Definitely.
I mean, for a lot of people, if we have a small amount of time to allocate to physical activity, there are a lot of people that just want to do the most calorie burning option.
Yeah,
But it's cool to know that there is a yoga that would match with that need. So
definitely.
that's really cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So I know you talk a lot about the spiritual awareness aspect to yoga. And would you say, so my question for you on that is, have you had an experience while doing yoga that you would consider an enlightening experience? And if so, would you be willing to share it with our audience?
Absolutely. Yeah. So yoga, like we said, is super spiritual. There are so many different schools of yoga that have different, thought processes on what yoga is, what actually like the purpose of life is. And I can't really speak on those because I haven't studied all of them. So I don't want to talk about what I'm not sure of. But yoga, for the most part, there's a huge spiritual aspect of it. And the classes that I'm drawn to are taught by teachers who really pull in that ancient philosophy from 5,000 years ago, from these ancient texts. And I've had countless experiences like this on my mat, usually stemming from a good teacher who ties in the philosophy. And so my biggest aha moment I'll share with you was when I first started my yoga practice, and I went to this teacher at my home studio out on Long Island called the Funky Om. This one teacher taught a class, and the theme of the class was "You are not your body." And so I was like, the reason I got into yoga was because I really wanted that physical push. And I was going to a heated studio. I like to sweat. I like to really feel my body. I liked to get stronger because I knew that it had benefits for my heart. And so I'm in this class, and it's a pretty challenging class. It's heated. I'm sweating. And she starts talking about, you are not your body. And, I think I was like 20 years old, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? Like, I'm not my body. Yes, I am. I'm in this body. This is me. And she continues on, and she's weaving it through as a really great teacher does. She's weaving it through and connecting it to the actual poses that we're doing and educating us. And so in short, her message was that this physical body that we're in right now, it is just a vessel for our soul. So it is like a car. It gets us from point A to point B, and the body eventually breaks down. Just like a car, the car needs an oil change. The car needs proper fuel. So does the body. And if we don't use it, we get weaker. And so she's really likening the body to a car. And I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, tell me more, tell me more. And so as I got deeper into the class, spilling over into when I was certified as a yoga teacher, I learned about this concept called the five kleshas in yoga. And basically what the kleshas are five things that lead us to suffering. And so the first thing that leads us to suffering is called avidya. And it translates to ignorance. So in this concept, it's just the reason that we suffer here in this life. One of the reasons is because we're ignorant to the fact that we are so much more than just this physical body. And it's when I first heard that, and when I first like really put the pieces together, I was like, okay, just because I have red hair, right, doesn't mean I'm a redhead. It means my body has red hair. My soul is here to teach. My soul is here to make other people happy and to serve other people and to, whatever the reason is I'm here. That is my soul's reason, not my physical body. My physical body is the reason that I'm able to pursue that goal and do what I'm here to do. And the only reason, not the only reason, but the main reason that I'm taking care of this body is for my soul. And so when I realized that, I was like, woo, I'm still a human. And of course, I still want to look pretty and I want to, make sure that I'm confident in who I am on the external, but really it's the internal that matters. And when I recognized that there is a clear distinction between the two, it was like mind blown, powerful stuff.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I had no idea that is where you were going to take this conversation and and share that experience. But it's so interesting, and I totally ate that up because I actually read a book. I just got finished reading a book that talks about some things the same exact thing for the most part, and it actually used the same car comparison. So I feel like that's like insane. Like what a sign that I just like read that the other day and it just came out of your mouth. And what I find so interesting is like, the more that you do like read about this stuff and explore it and educate yourself, there are a lot of pieces that do overlap in different thinking, like whether it's one religion or another, or it's just this overall concept. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was so enlightening. And it makes me want to mention, I want you to join my book club. So we started this like super casual private Facebook group where I have the list of books posted in the group, and it's been books that talk about things like this. And we've just recently got started. I think I made the group like last week because people were just interested in like what I was reading and stuff. Oh my God, I would be honored if you joined it. That would be so fun.
Yeah, please invite me. I would love to.
Yeah. So we've been talking about like stuff like this. So I just thought it was like a perfect opportunity to bring it up and to tell everyone that what you just said might sound crazy for some, like if you're not used to hearing it, but there's so much relevance to it. And you're not the only one saying that. I mean, it's real, it's just really, really cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that was like your second little push of like, here's the info.
That was just crazy. Like even the fact that you gave the same explanation of the car, it's just so interesting. Have you watched, this is a total tangent, but we've got a little time. No, it's not time consuming, but did you watch that new show on Netflix, Behind Her Eyes?
No, not yet.
Okay, so it was pretty good, and it's interesting. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say any more and like give anything away, but like you should totally watch it. We can talk about it too. Yeah, it was interesting. It's kind of like similar, but yeah. So anyway, so thank you so much for that explanation though. That was so intriguing.
Sure.
So back to yoga. Is there anything that we would want to be prepared for when we're just starting out doing yoga, maybe like for the first time, we're just getting into it?
Yeah. So I just have like a simple sentence of advice for anybody, if it's your first yoga class or if it's your first like real yoga class, and it's to let go of your expectations. So just like walk in, show up, let go of anything you think is about to happen, let go of how you think your body is going to perform, let go of how you think the class is going to go. meet yourself exactly where you are on your yoga mat through every single pose, and approach your yoga practice as a witness. So it's like, just get as much information you can about yourself. And that's all you need to do. That's your yoga practice. It's just showing up and being in the present and seeing what happens.
That's so interesting that you said approach it as a witness.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
Yeah. So there's, going back to philosophy, there's this word in yoga called svadhyaya, which means self-study. And it's a lot of times people think about it as being able to open, philosophy books and study about yoga and the ancient practice, which absolutely it is. But also there's a step further, and it's being able to study yourself and how you are, in this body, in this lifetime. So when you get onto your yoga mat, instead of like, let's say we get into a yoga pose like warrior two, which is this power pose. You've probably seen it before, like bent leg, arms out straight. And instead of them, because the mind is going to start to talk, and the mind might say, if it's your first time, you're not strong enough for this, or why did you come here, or you don't belong here. But it's, instead of like, being affected by that language, being able to take a step back and be like, okay, I'm noticing that I'm feeling less than, or I'm feeling inferior, or I'm feeling like I'm not strong enough, and leaving it at that. I'm just noticing. It's a data point. A lot of times I tell my students, it's like you're a college student and you've got a research paper, and your body and your experience and your mind is your topic. So it's gaining as much information as you can to be able to write about that topic and really study yourself.
Amazing. Okay, that's definitely so true. It makes so much sense. And also too, the reminder that this is just for me and my like non-professional view, but not all of our feelings are even true, like,
Right.
or real. Like
Right.
we do think we're not, we may think we're not good enough for the class, or everyone else is right. Everyone else is so much better at this than us.
Yep.
But we don't have to take that for the truth.
Nope. Because it's not. Our mind is designed to keep us safe. So of course it's going to tell us things that bring us down, because it keeps us small. It's just the mind's job. And if we're able to just step back and be like, oh, mind, like that's cute. It's not needed. It's not relevant. Goodbye. Then it's so powerful to be able to do that.
And I love
Yeah.
too how we've had some amazing experts on this show, and it's cool to see the community and the culture that we're building around that we're building with it, and to see things build, and to hear, like, we did have an expert on recently who did mention something similar to that, like, okay, thank you, mind, like that was nice of you, like thank you for trying to protect me, but like I am going to, it's like the way you would like almost talk to your parent, like, thanks for caring about me, but I am going to do it anyway. And you're so confident, you're so confident in that scenario. But when it's your internal dialogue, we take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah, it's so true.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, guys listening, I feel like, the conversations that we have on this show are so powerful. I mean, no matter what your personal goals are, and no matter what we're individually trying to achieve on a day-to-day basis, we're growing together, in this community, and we're learning so much that I feel are just, and even if this isn't new to you, it's a nice reminder. It's almost like your daily vibe check,
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
so thank you so much, because your story has just been so incredible and so amazing for this show. I'm so happy that you're
Aw,
here.
I'm so glad you invited me.
So as we're starting out, is there any equipment that you would recommend we bring to our first yoga class, or buy in preparation for our first at-home yoga class?
Yeah, so you'll definitely want a yoga mat of good quality that supports you. It has enough cushion for your knees and for your palms. I do have a yoga mat that I super recommend. It's actually on my website. It's from Lululemon, and I think it's 5 millimeters. I'm not sure, but it's on my website. Super, super comfortable, and it's reversible. So it's got this top that's non-slip, and then it's got another side that's really good for like comfortable and restorative yoga. So having a yoga mat is everything. Having your own, so you don't have to worry about germs if you're going to a studio. And then I'm such a sucker for props, and the two most helpful props for a yoga class, in my opinion, are blocks and a blanket. And so blocks are just these, if you don't know what they are, just like these little rectangles that could be foam or could be made of cork. And they're really used to just like raise the floor up, so that if your hands don't reach the floor, say you're in forward fold, then you use your hands on blocks. So they really make poses accessible to you and can be used for so many different things. So blocks for sure. And then my last thing is a blanket. And that's just personal because I'm always cold. And so the last pose of a yoga class usually is called Shavasana. And you're just laying down and you're in this meditation on your back. And so covering yourself up with a blanket is so cozy, and it's everything. So blocks, blanket, yoga mat.
That's awesome. I had no idea about the blanket. That's amazing. This sounds very appealing. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize that there was time at the end for your personal meditation. That's really honestly awesome.
It's the best part.
Yeah, that's so cool. I had no idea that was even incorporated at the end like that. And I agree too, the yoga mat that you mentioned, I have the same one, and not that I'm doing yoga on it, but I do use it for working out, and it lasts forever. It's so good. And I love that Lulu has too, they make like a microfiber towel that goes with it. That's like the exact same dimensions as the mat, which is cool.
Yeah. Yep. That's great for hot yoga. Catches your sweat.
Got it. Yes. I have no idea what it's for, but I've just been using it to work out. I'm like, yeah.
I love it.
So yeah. Right. But definitely awesome tool. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that we mentioned your website. I know we briefly mentioned it before, but I want to make sure that our audience knows what is available on your website, because it is very useful. Tell us what your website is one more time, just the URL.
Yeah, it's breathestrengthwellness.com.
Okay, breathestrengthwellness.com. You're going to the audience, you're going to want to check this out. Charlotte has free meditations. There's the YouTube channel that's linked. You have live stream classes. Could you just give us a little more information of what we can get off of your website, what you're offering?
Yeah, for sure. So my favorite offering on the website are the live classes. So they're all offered through Zoom. We do classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And so those are just in real time. So that's where you can expect using the chat box and really feeling like you're in community through Zoom. And we do a class called Hit and Flow, which is my signature class through Breathe Strength, which is like what we were talking about before, balance. So it's this balance of high intensity interval training and sweating and working, and then slowing down with yoga flow and balancing and stretching and relaxing. So that is probably my favorite class offered. It's such a good time. It's a party. So that's offered on Mondays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then we've got a class called Breathe and Flow, which is kind of the breath work that Christina and I did before, mixed with fun vinyasa-based yoga, which is really just that flowy transition between different yoga poses. So we have a great time with live stream classes. And then, so we have on-demand classes as well. So if you're not available to make the time of a live class, they're recorded and they're uploaded to my on-demand library, which right now I think we've got about 85 classes to choose from, which is amazing. And so you can choose whatever class you want, whether it's Hit and Flow, Breathe and Flow. We've got a class called Recover, and you can use those, however often you want. So if you make a purchase, it's yours for 5 years. Come back to it whenever. And then what else is on the website? I've got my events page. So I do work with corporations. So if you have a corporate office that's looking for meditation or HIIT or yoga, I'm your girl. I absolutely love corporate events. I do CPR instruction too. So that's part of the website. And then we've got my shop page, which is all of my Lululemon favorites. I'm a legacy ambassador for Lululemon. So I love them, I swear by them, and I review their products. So it'll link to some of my YouTube videos where I review different pants different, outfits that are good for certain types of workouts. And yeah, and then I've got my free meditations which links to Spotify. I've got a few meditations on there that are 4 minutes to 11 minutes. Got my YouTube channel, which again is both the reviews of Lululemon clothes and any workouts and yoga flows under 30 minutes. So that is what you can expect to find on my website, chock full of info. And yeah, I'm excited for you to check it out.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so many useful resources. And a question about your live streaming classes. Are they like, do you do them at different times of the day?
Right now we have evening options, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday through Thursday. And then Saturday, we've got a morning option, which is 10 o'clock.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I feel like that's
Yeah,
when mostly everyone is available.
definitely.
Yeah, that's great. And then what was I going to ask? Oh, I wanted to ask you too with the video, if we were to attend a video live streaming class, do we need to have our videos on during the class?
Nope. You can have them on or off. I love when they're on just because you get to like see the energy of people. But if you're having a day where you want to turn that camera off, turn it off. No big deal.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to know because I also think sometimes people may feel as a barrier. They may be like, oh, like my living room isn't neatened up. Like I don't want anyone to see it, or, I don't think I'm going to look pretty while I'm doing these things. So it's just something too that I wanted to ask about, like, because there's nothing worse than signing on and then being like, oh, everyone's required to turn it on. You're like, get me out of here.
No, I would never make that a requirement. Never.
That's so funny. Just like, the modern day fears that we have about joining things on Zoom and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I know.
So funny. Can you share with our audience your Instagram handle, which I'll also have linked in the description? And also, you have an event coming up. Can you tell us about it?
Sure can. So you can find me on Instagram at breathe_strength. Instagram is where all the fun happens. We've got fun polls and it's a good time. And so the event, we've got a really, really fun event coming up on March 20th, which is a combination of all of Breathe Strength signature classes with all of Breathe Strength's instructors. So there's 3 teachers that are co-teaching this event, and it's called HIT, Sculpt, Breathe, Flow, Recover. So you are getting 5 signature classes in, I think it's 75. Yeah, it's 75 minutes, and it's $22 for admission. And that ticket is for you and a friend. So you get to share your invite with a friend. So say hi to them on Zoom, and it really feels like a party. So that event, oh my gosh, it is a real party. We've got a great playlist, great energy, and I'm so excited for you to join. If you're free, that's on March 20th at 10 a.m.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally. And random question, your pricing. I know your other classes are 11. Are they $11 each?
Yep. Live stream classes are 11. On demand classes are 11.
Got it. Do you intentionally price your classes to be like angel numbers?
I do. It just feels nice.
That's so cool. So yes, definitely check out Charlotte's event, her classes, website, Instagram. You have so much to share. And thank you so much for giving us all of this today on this episode. This was so amazing. I just feel so good after talking to you. This was just so enlightening and amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me and, introducing me to your audience. And hopefully we can all just be this huge community, Breathe in Strength.
Amazing. Yes, that is the goal. That is the goal. I mean, it's not that common, I feel, where you have the opportunity to meet people like you. I mean, I just feel so lucky to have happened to start this show, and I get to talk to these amazing people and bring them to our audience. And I just feel like we're becoming a group of like just friends that are like, we're going to see each other flourish. We're meeting new people and we're just like growing together as a community and supporting each other and just bringing this stuff to each other. So it just all just feels so nice. Yeah.
Of course. And there you go. That's your social health. It's important. If we're going to grow together.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm going to share with you the book club if you wanted to join it. And
Yeah,
that's
please
also,
do.
yeah, and that's open to, I mean, it's small, but it is open to my, listeners and my social media family too. So if anyone wants to know the info, just reach out to me. But yeah, anyway, that's a side note. But thank you so much, Charlotte.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Christina.
Guys, this was another incredible episode. I just feel so blessed to have been able to bring Charlotte to you guys. I genuinely feel like we are growing together as a community, and that is the coolest part of this for me. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss future episodes, and also follow me on Instagram. My handle is Christina.Cremitas. I do giveaways every week there, and it's a good place for us to get to know each other better. This show, New York and Beyond, strives to help us achieve our fullest potential, live our fullest lives by putting us directly in touch with experts in various industries who impart their amazing knowledge on us. And this show has become our weekly vibe check, our weekly inspiration. And I genuinely look forward to recording every episode and bringing it to you guys. And I hope that you guys are looking forward to the next episodes as well. I'm so happy to see us growing and building this together. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. I'll see you there.